somehow I want to say here that because my ancestors had to struggle against, American apartheid, American domestic terrorism against people because of the color of their skin, American discrimination and Jim Crow and so forth, and overcome it, that we know deep in our bones that the hype about American exceptionalism is blemished. It's just not quite as people would have it. Mm-hmm. And then to become cheerleaders for the American enterprise, whatever it might be, secondarily because we are cheerleaders for the President of the United States, who happens to be a black man, and to abandon this skeptical and critical stance. Oh no, the secret legal memo authorizing the President to create on his own account without any judicial review kill lists, which he can then execute through the military apparatus of the country to eliminate people whom he understands to be enemies of our state without any review or any accountability, a position that would have and should have triggered, rightly would have triggered a deep critical reaction from African American intellectuals if it had been enunciated by a, if you will, white president. Mm-hmm. Goes unremarked on MSNBC by the likes of Melissa Harris Perry, who holds herself forward. I give her as one example. Others could be given. Al Sharpton could also be given. Holds herself forward as a spokesperson for this great tradition of African American struggle and social criticism, but can't find it within herself to vigorously evoke that tradition in criticism of a president who's overstepped his legal and moral bounds. This kind of thing. So I'm wondering what you think about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on it because, of course, those are certainly important claims, and there are people who are held back from what they would say if, say, John Edwards or Bill Clinton were doing the same things out of a sense of cultural fellowship, and also out of a sense, which I think is outdated, that if they criticize Barack Obama, then they are giving entree to, say, Republicans/white people to do the same thing, and there's a sense that somehow that's unleashing some sort of uniquely poisonous force, and pretty soon people are going to start calling him the N-word, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas I'm not sure where people still have this idea that Obama can't take care of things himself and buck himself up against criticism, and that black people in general can have mean things said to them and still walk on. There's certainly that. However, I think that when it comes to something like what Eddie Glaude said in the Times piece, I think that if Barack Obama had somehow, in some fantasy world, instated a new Great Society program, that's what they're talking about. What they mean is a revolution to fight poverty and to turn America upside down in that way. If he did that, then as far as they were concerned, he would walk on water no matter what else he did. What they're saying when they say we have to hold the president's feet to the fire is they were waiting for him to reinstate what started under Lyndon Johnson. And to the extent that he didn't do that, although it'd be hard to say how he possibly could have, or exactly what would have worked, given what a mess the Great Society ended up being. Short of that, you're not doing the right thing. And that bothers me, because I think that idea that we have to not like what he's doing because he's not being a hard leftist and transforming the housing projects, it just doesn't make sense to me. It seems that it's more based on how good it feels to fashion yourself as a prophet than to really engage with the way the world is. But yeah, you're right. And I'm guilty of some of it myself. There is an extent to which I have always given Obama a somewhat longer tether, not because I'm afraid white people are going to be mean to him, but out of a fellow traveler sense that I want the man to do well. I openly admit that there's some of that in